Hello. How's it going?
Oh, it's good.
What are you doing?
Well, in between classes.
Yeah. What's this background? I'm just curious. This at the house or is this at your...
No, this is the house. I'm sitting on my deck.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah. Hey.
What's up?
Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Eat peanuts?
A piece of trail mix.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna try and go live on Facebook with this too. Like I'm recording it, but I'm also gonna try and go live just to kind of kick that around a little bit.
Sure.
And that's okay. So.
Yeah. That's all I feel like I'm doing is going live.
I know, right?
Yeah, I was just live on the deal on WCCO yesterday.
You did something on CCO?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
No, they just called and like, can you just talk about how you're handling with players and students and all that? So we just talked for 20 minutes or so.
That's pretty cool. What'd you tell them?
We're managing it like everybody, right? It's so different, but kind of hard to. I think we're a program based on relationships, and so like that, we're trying to just use those relationships to make sure that we're checking out with kids. We're doing a good job with that, but then also trying to just figure out. I think that the uncertainty of everything. And I think it went from like, all right, well, are we going to be back at school after spring break to like, are we going to be back at the end of the school year? Which now we know.
You just kind of have had to
and
adapt
then,
each day.
And then now it's like, then it went to like, this week on Monday when we met, we did a Zoom meeting with all the players, and I was like, well, are we going to be able to do stuff this summer? And then today when I met, somebody's like, well, do you think we're still going to be able to play this fall? So it kind of keeps moving their worries. So we're just spending a lot of time talking about like controlling what you can control, and is what
does it impact your foot? And I guess I'm going a little bit different direction than I had anticipated, but does it impact your football program, like not being able to do stuff in the spring then, or?
I think we always encourage our kids to do like, another sport. So we've got a bunch of kids that I think are losing the ability to compete in another sport right now. And then obviously our off-season lifting and stuff, but we sent some stuff out to kids and asked them to lift and kind of said, we're going to get an opportunity to see kind of what we can do. Are we going to be able to work and when nobody's around and do those things? Or are we going to be stuck? I think just being around each other, I think that the kids just enjoy being around each other. And so the opportunity just to build those relationships and work hard together as a team, I think has been so valuable for us. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that we miss right now is just being able to be together. And
feed off your energy, not just through a screen.
Yes.
Right. So, kind of a big day for a couple of reasons, but I guess I just wanted to start with, how are you first? You're healthy and well and doing okay. The kids are good.
Yeah, we are. We're healthy. Good. I feel like all we kind of are doing is trying to get outside as much as we can and working out and trying to connect with all of our students and keep our kids going through 4 different e-learnings.
Yeah, right on. How's the fam? Jackson and I want to say Shar, is that right? Or
Cha-Cha,
yeah. That's how they they adapting to not having school and being on the computers and stuff.
I think there's some times where it's like, all right, you've been on the screen too much, and there's some other times where me, Mom, and I need a break, or like we might be doing something where we need them to stay occupied a little bit. But I think that it's nice to have each other to play with, right? So, we've kind of had those conversations. Like we're pretty lucky. Like they can go in the backyard and go swimming and jump on the trampoline, and we got a little playground back here and yard space, and things are pretty good. So I find my patience for complaining about how because we're at home, but we could be quarantined in a lot worse places than we are right now, and so we're together and just trying to enjoy it.
Yeah,
so.
Shalene just watched the governor's announced that there wasn't school. And her biggest concern, our second grader, her biggest concern was that she's not going to be able to race Mr. Benish at the end of the school year. So she's a little bummed about that.
Yes.
Oh, that's too bad. Who's Mr. Benish?
Oh, like the coolest second grade teacher ever. He just did a rap that was like all over the Wayzata district. He read a book. So
yeah.
Awesome.
I'll have to check it out. Maybe you can share it with me.
Phenomenal job.
I will. I'll send it.
we've done a really good job of connecting with our kids. Like Brooklyn had a Bright Start Zoom meeting with everybody in her Bright Start, which is incredibly funny to watch and like see these kids on navigate that. So the teachers have done a really good job of they've got work to do and they're still learning and growing, but this hasn't been overwhelming for them where they feel like I can't send. There's been some times where like my daughter has been like, oh yeah, I'm not sure this, and all of a sudden we get a phone call from a teacher like, oh
so
yeah,
great.
And let me talk you through this. And so we've been really, really blessed to have such good support here.
What's going on with Dance Esteem? Tell for those who don't know, tell us what is Dance Esteem, and then tell us what's going on with it.
Oh my gosh. Well, Dance Esteem is my studio that I've had for 11 years. We have 2 locations, one in Eden Prairie, and then our second one is here in Plymouth. And we normally teach in the studio and have many rooms and many teachers and lots of fun students. But as of March 15th, everything for our world went virtual. Which thankfully we already had this thing called the band app. And so a lot of our classes already were doing some online stuff, maybe just when they're home, they could check, current choreography or whatever. So luckily we had that. So we only had about a week that we had to kind of turn around and pre-record like over 150 classes. And
Holy cow.
Yes. My teachers, my staff are phenomenal. They didn't, they were like, oh, we're really doing this? Yep, we're doing this. They jumped in, filmed for about a week straight. Mm-hmm. And then now we've kind of been doing a little bit of both. Like we're filming, we're doing live Zooms, we're going live on our band, doing a lot of challenges, which has been really fun. But it's definitely, I think, a whole new world just being virtual. And like we talked about before, like connecting with your students on screen, I think is the hardest part, and like it's the part I think I miss the most is seeing my kids every day.
Yeah, no doubt. How many kids are enrolled in the program overall, Lindsay?
We have almost 400.
So it's a big organization. You got 1 or 2 parents for every one of those kids probably, or pretty close. So add another, I'll guess 250 or 300 on top of that you're working with. How many staff?
I have 10 instructors, and then I have office managers, and I have teacher assistants. So there's probably about 20 of us.
And has it been challenging? I mean, obviously it's probably been challenging, but tell me some of the challenges that you faced as coronavirus has come down. And I mean, obviously you're adapting a little bit, but talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard because, you pay for, you want to go and you pay for your kid to have this amazing experience of like, nobody has probably a dance studio in their house. I mean, maybe now a lot of our families have really adapted their houses into that.
Right.
But I think, one of the biggest challenges is like you're trying to give one-on-one attention to these students, and then you're looking at a screen filled with 20 little boxes, and you're trying to run routines, and we do competitions. So we've had 2 already. Thankfully we did get 2 under us, but we still have 2 more, and we don't know when those will be. They, keep getting pushed off. But that challenge is just like trying to connect with our kids as much as we can. And I feel like I always want to do more, but I don't know what, we've exhausted a lot of options. I feel like.
Yeah, right on. Talk to me a little bit. I want to switch gears for just a sec too, and talk with you guys just about the news of the day in Wayzata, because you're both pretty involved in the community. Obviously, the governor declaring that school is going to be out is having a big impact. What's your response to Wayzata schools not going back in session?
I think it's really first thing that crossed my mind is feeling for the seniors. I think there's so many like rites of passage and things that I think kids look forward to, and just that spending time together. It's like getting that, having a little bit of closure is always nice, and when that closure gets taken away, at least that ability to walk out of the building and say, this is the last time I'm going to be in school here. I think it's the same thing. Like, think about our senior football players, and then kind of went into like, I just got off the phone with one of the coaches going, we got to find a way to make sure we honor these guys. Mm-hmm. And I typically get a chance to see all those guys the last few days and get some one-on-one time with them all. and that's gone. And so just trying to connect with them, but also make sure we honor them. And I think it's a great lesson, and we're all part of something bigger. And we're right now we're all getting a hard lesson in that, in terms of doing what's right for everybody. But really feeling for them, and feeling, losing that opportunity to kind of have some of those connections. And so I'm hoping everybody is keeping strong, and I think trying to find a way to, I don't even want to say make the most out of it, because I think that sounds a little weird, with knowing that people are going through so much right now. But I think being grateful for what we have, and the fact that right now we got a lot of healthy people here, and step, and this is just part of their story.
Yeah, right on. Another big piece of news that came out of Wayzata today, the Lakeshore Weekly News, which was started in 1982, announced that they're going to fold. And so that's a pretty significant loss to the community. Just wondered if you have seen that paper, and would just comment both on just generally on the business climate and your hope for the Wayzata community. I think, and for my own take on it is that we're concerned about the businesses that are in our community here, and yours is a good example. It's not the only one, and I think they're all vulnerable, and news and print in particular, old school stuff is really at risk. So I don't know if you heard that or caught wind of that today, but that came down the pike today. So
I think it's so hard. I mean, I think that's like, I go up and down with these emotions for myself personally. It's like some days I'm like, okay, this is so great, everything's going fabulous. And then, you surround yourself with what's going on and the news, and like all of a sudden I can look at him and be like, help, I'm drowning. Like, what more can we do? I mean, I know it's definitely a big fear for us. And I did share that with my families too, saying, if we don't continue to offer our online classes and don't continue to give you stuff, we will have to close our doors. And I think it's such a constant in so many of our students' lives, and our parents, our community, our families have been so amazing, and they're continuing to support us. But again, we talk about screen time, and we talk about all that kind of stuff. Like, how long is this going to be something that we go, okay, we're just going to keep supporting this. We're going to keep supporting this. I don't know. Yeah. It is scary.
It's definitely scary out there for business owners of every size and shape. So, well, hey, I want to thank you. This is the first, I take it back. This is the second one of these I've done. I was not smart enough to get it to go live while we were getting it going. Unfortunately, I think, probably what we could do is, do this on occasion and try and get this live, and we'll put this out into the community. But, it'd be great to check in with both of you. Football related, Dance Esteem related, or not. I mean, I'd love to talk with you guys about what's going on in the community and in your lives too. So,
how's your business doing? Are you busy with?
It's a great question. Real estate is doing relatively well. It has bounced back some, right? The first 2 weeks that they announced coronavirus, it was crickets. Like, nobody's showing any properties, nobody's listing anything, nobody's writing anything. I did sell something last Friday. And did a virtual FaceTime. Like, they were out of state buyers. They're from Pennsylvania. I walked through with my phone. I'm just like, here's this, here's that, da 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 da. They bought it sight unseen. They're flying in on Saturday, and so that has really changed. I'm lucky in that so much of my business, Lambert and Lindsay, is based off the internet. So I'm ahead of the curve on some of that stuff, in that I haven't had to, I mean, I do these things, but I don't have to sit an open house in order to meet a new client and find somebody. So that's been really good. Showings have started to come back, but it is not the same activity out there, and lending criteria has tightened up quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens in real estate moving forward. There's a lot of unknowns. People don't know what they should do or what they could do. If you're in a position, it's probably a pretty good time to be aggressive and buy something. If a lot of people are still holding though, in terms of like, I'm not sure I should sell right now, or I'm not ready to sell, or we're waiting for the market to come back. I will tell you that there's a lot of people sitting on their couch at home looking for boats and cars and houses. And so it's a great time to be on the market from that standpoint. So that's my sense of it. And, we'll power through it. And, people always need housing. People are born, kids are born, and people die, and people get transferred. So, it's I'm just here to help people as much as I can. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel like, you're right. And being ahead of the curve, I think makes the transition a little bit easier. I think it's tough for everybody. That's like what Lindsay and I kind of talked about. Like, there were so many things that she had in place already. I think sometimes things that like our families didn't even quite know, because they're in person all the time. But it's like, wait, I can go back and watch all these classes and do all that. And so we're kind of counting our blessings in that it's not like we don't have to reinvent the wheel and figure out how are we going to do this. It's like, let's just find ways to continue to
and make it better and better.
Make it better. Do and handle the changing environment and make sure we're doing a good job for kids in both settings. The same thing I'm talking to the coaching staff about. Like, we've got so many things already in place. Like, let's take these things and record. And our coaching staff has done a phenomenal job, not only of connecting with kids, but
and making it
continuing
personal,
to push out content and make sure our kids are growing and more so, and probably first and foremost, making sure our kids are doing okay. And then like, okay, if you are doing okay, how can we now help you grow? And so it's been
I think half of it is that it's like we start a lot of our meetings too, just kind of doing a check-in with these kids, because they went in a sport at the studio. It's like a second home for these kids. So like, they're so much more comfortable. I hear more things from my students than they probably even tell their parents.
Right.
So, like, and because they are just they're just so comfortable when they're in the studio or, at practice or whatever, it's kind of having them like you just see it in their eyes and you see it in their face, just being like, oh, yay, I can tell you, whatever it may be. Yeah,
right on. Culturally, I'm excited in that, and you're talking about a little bit that, Wayzata is kind of an old guard town. Once you kind of go inside Wayzata proper versus, the school district, which is very hip and trendy and very technology savvy. So culturally, you're seeing some change, and I'm excited about that because I've been waiting for some time for Wayzata.com to come into its own. And I think we're kind of getting there, where people are starting to feel comfortable, doing stuff on the internet and recording things and buying and selling things. And so I think you're going to see, you're going to see that change a lot. We've got some live cameras of downtown you're going to see get launched here in just a little bit. We've got the Wayzata fan club on Facebook, which I think both of you have joined here recently. And that's, we want that to be the community posting about itself, not Dan Gustafson necessarily just dictating what is important to the community. So it's really an opportunity for everybody to kind of just join in and kind of say, here's what I'm up to and here's what's important. And so I think you're going to see that out of the pain that happens here. I think culturally, you're going to see some really good stuff. So.
For sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, cool. Hey, this is probably good right now. I'm sure we could sit and chat, and particularly if we had some drinks, maybe we'll have to make this happy hour next time. But I'm sure we could sit and chat for a long, long time. But let's disperse, and then we'll get back together and do it another time. Lambert and Lindsay.
That was good. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. See you later. Goodbye.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.